So my name is Heather Kane. I'm based in the Chicagoland area, and I lead change management and employee engagement for a company called Robertshaw. We're a global manufacturing company with about 4,500 employees around the world, and we build components that are used in appliances, heating, refrigeration equipment. So probably you've got some of our products in your home or business. So a lot of our workforce, 80% is in a manufacturing role. So many of them don't have company email or access to a laptop computer during the day. And so I was tasked 3 years ago with finding a solution for how we start a real listening program and a way to connect with all employees so that we didn't have to have this waterfall down approach from 400 managers and supervisors to 4,000 other people and hope it worked out all right. Yeah, workforce access was just the biggest thing. It, again, many people assume that most employees have email or access to a laptop, and that just isn't the case in a manufacturing environment. So mobile access, use of QR codes, it really helped us get to frontline employees very easily. The analytics were also easy for leaders to understand. The company had never had this before. And so it was brand new. So evolving that and working with the CultureMonkey team, they've been so supportive on this to really help us not just launch a survey, but think about how to engage managers, people leaders to really understand what they're seeing. And then from day one, CultureMonkey team has just adapted functionality of the platform and got creative with services to help us overcome unique issues to our business and helping us get those conversations going. Yes, that has been a journey as well. So the first part is just having the translations. So the first year we had to provide translations, and now there's built-in translations. So language is a huge part of it. Being able to capture results. We've actually had surveys, a couple of them, where we had different versions sent out, which was really helpful to get more targeted information, and CultureMonkey made that easier for us to get our leaders more specific targeted information on areas that they should be focusing on. And then I talked about that simplification or access for employees, and that's a huge change because it's great to have the access and on the phone or whatever. But it also saved time for our HR people. Like, we don't have this massive HR organization. So at every site, they would have to get people, groups of 5 to 10, pull them off a line, because we're not going to take part of their break, can't do that, and pull them in to answer 35 questions. And have them asking questions, doing whatever, getting them, sending them back, go getting the rest. Imagine if you have one of our sites has got 1,400 employees. Frontline workers. So divide by groups of 10, assuming you can get 10 every time. It's just a huge amount of work. So this year we really got HR bought into using the QR codes, using our intranet screens, which is new as well. So people could scan it there, setting up kiosks in the break room and stuff. And people are just getting more accustomed to being able to share their feedback and knowing what's expected. And so that self-serve aspect really minimized how much time the entire HR team was putting in at every single plant location, and which also makes it less disruptive for the manufacturing business, right? Honestly, this whole listening program is just had a massive change for us. So we've run 5 surveys, 3 annual and 2 pulse. And there was improvement from year 1 to year 2. But at the pulse time, nothing was changing. And so this last survey, the numbers just went up really high. The goal was set very high. And I told them, there's no way. That doesn't happen. That doesn't work for engagement. I don't think so. But we started really, because we weren't just focused on pushing out a process and pushing out a survey, manually getting people in, having to teach every manager and supervisor how to read a heat map and how to drill down into things. we've, moved beyond that. And so now, like, the feedback we're getting, when I did a summary of our 5 top themes for the first time ever, one theme was proud to work here. I mean, it's incredible. And the positive feedback totally overshadowed that. We got even more comments, over 900 this year. Not that we had over 800 both prior years. And the comments have evolved from just talking about fix this, or maybe, people aren't wearing their equipment, or the manager's not fair with vacation time, things like that. So much of the feedback now is about, this is great. Thanks for asking. I think if we did this here in my plant on my production line, we could do this better, faster, more efficiently. Like, they're coming up with all these ideas. And that's what we want. It's like the score is there, but all the work that's been done now. So since the last pulse survey, people were disappointed that they didn't see a move in the scores. Then we had a 1 point plus jump for so many groups. And the manager numbers, like last year, about 40% of managers were at an 8 or higher. This year, it's over 84%. I mean, that means that most of my employees are working for someone that they classify as a good manager in a lot of aspects. So yes, you can tell I'm very excited about this. It's been a great year, and it's been great to see the concerted efforts put in by a couple of our key sites, especially in Mexico, where I spent a lot of time this year, and they're seeing the results of it. So it's really exciting. So pulse surveys, again, we found them pretty stagnant 6 months in. And so, there are a variety of factors from our managers taking this seriously. And are they then, if managers are doing things, why don't employees see it, right? So we started diving into things that were affecting, what employees saw and understood that was going on. And it led to some really incredible changes. We launched an intranet with screens. It's also auto-translating. So now we can put things out there. We've figured out that employees weren't necessarily connecting the dots from feedback I gave you last year, a variety of actions and activities that were implemented change over the last 11 months. And then I'm taking another survey. It's like, so we started improving communications, and we have a communication pillar now, which focuses on a model of, this is your feedback. These are the actions taken. You should be seeing this. And I think that's another part of it we discovered. So these pulse surveys have been, if we just had the annuals, I don't even know if we'd see it. I don't even think we would have achieved these great results this year, because it took a lot. Like the first pulse survey, they're not really moving. Oh, it got better. The next second annual got better. Pulse survey, they're not really moving. What happened last year? Okay, so now we're seeing a trend. And then we found a couple sites to make our case study models, and they took a lot of action, and they kept track of it, and they talked about it, and here we are with vastly improved results. So it just takes time for people to buy into it and to believe the numbers that they're seeing, and drawing those connections and diving deeper into our larger sites really helped us say, well, I can physically see all these things happening, or these not happening. And so it just gives us so much more credibility when going to senior executive leaders and talking about this, because we have stories now. I mean, the numbers are fine, but what are the stories? What happens behind it? I think a big part, I remember from the first time we did this, there was so much concern about anonymity and privacy. So we've definitely honed in on that, and people are clearly buying it. They're trusting it, and they're also starting to see the impact of changes in their daily work life. And so all that combined is just, it's not even hard. The first 2 years, it was hard to get everything going. Get HR to collect people, get the people to want to answer it, get the leaders at the plants, they bought into it. That was fine. But it's just changed so much, because now they can see the results of taking these actions, not just in an engagement survey. That's an important metric, but in other parts of their business. And now they know what levers they can pull to affect some of those changes. So when I when I think back to some individuals in Mexico, so I had someone who's a high leader in Mexico, one of the facilities, and he was like, we were doing the intranet, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Didn't really care. I could tell he didn't care. And then I said, well, what do you want to see there? And he had a couple specific things in my 10 minutes that I got. And I'm like, okay. So I made those things happen as part of the intranet. And then we had the pulse survey. And his teams were, a little lower. And then we just had the annual survey, and it was much better. Well, this guy was coming to me, instead of opening an IT ticket, saying, I can't get in. What's going on? I need my data. And he followed up 3 times and copied me when I told him he had to open a ticket, which, okay. But I was like, I know him, and he was not like on the leading edge of being a promoter. And now he's like, I gotta have my data. Like, we have a fiscal year. It ends this month. And so because he wanted to have that, and he wanted his team to have it, and he's like, they need to follow through, but I need to see the overall. I mean, I was just listening to him like, wow, I feel like I've arrived.
He was so engaged.
He's so engaged. Yeah, he was all over that data. And when we first started, I had to hound people and I had to publish numbers. And now it's like, well, CultureMonkey's great. They do all my stuff for me. So we just make plans, have a couple meetings. It's launched. They check in. They give me interim analyses and give me some special aftermarket analysis in addition to the heat maps and everything online. But it's just so much easier as well. It's like now the issues are not getting people to do it or getting people to believe the results. Now we're really starting to say, well, what do we think that means? And what can we do differently? Mm-hmm. So it's just really fun for the conversation. Even the slides I used to present to executives now, they're much less data heavy because I'm not having to prove it. They've got really strong visuals, imagery to just tell the story. Because I'm no longer, proving this is valid or it has an impact. And they just want to know, well, what impact? Let's talk about it.
Wow. It's made your life easier.
It has definitely made life easier. And all the HR team around the world, but even employees, like it's building this whole concept of a culture where we're empowering people and you have control and you have access. You're not a vessel waiting to be filled with information. And so getting them to change their behavior that way is going to pay benefits way beyond just communication. It's going to bring people with new ideas or improvements or taking ownership of an issue so that it never even goes further. Like there's so many upside opportunities for 4,000 people in manufacturing plants. Well, we started out being somewhat unsophisticated with this type of data. What does it mean? Are you sure? I don't think this is right. Anytime there is feedback, we still don't open up the feedback. We get it from CultureMonkey and they send me a full file with actual language and converted or translated language. And we parse it out in different groups, but there's actually help in doing that because then I can have people attack problems from different directions. So yes, you might just say, oh, the employee comments from one site, just go to the site manager. But if they're about like safety and stuff, then I can also send it to my environmental health and safety team and they can take a look at it. So we're really starting to use the comments and the numbers together. And then now that people are more comfortable with the base data, I mean, people use the word driver on their own. It's not just me saying it. They know what it is. They know the multiple questions are related to a driver. And they care about certain questions. You hear people talk about it. It's just part of the parlance now. So as we do that and people want more information, now that everything's not new, they're much further along the path of understanding. Now they want to know how to dive deeper and look at different things and do comparisons. And so developing more analytics. And the best part is, you look at a heat map and certain drivers, like, oh, it's pretty straightforward, but there's so many drill down capabilities and my teams have hardly used it that they can do more and it's self-serve. And once we kind of point them in a couple directions or I do a couple of analyses and share those broadly, then people could do that on their own and they feel much more comfortable doing it on their own. And every presentation I do, I read all the comments. I've been involved in this since the beginning, so I don't memorize comments, but they're on slides all the time. They want to hear the stories and know which location and job function, and they love seeing those, whether good, bad. And then I can follow up with other stories of things I've read or seen on these from our locations. So it's huge. They want to hear all this. They want to know these comments. And it's just been really fun to present to different groups. I mean, they're all just like, oh, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
It is. The problem it solves is getting to a mostly frontline workforce in 9 different languages, half a dozen of which are not common languages. So it makes it really easy to do that. So we spend more of our time on getting to the output, getting to the comments and feedback and ratings and scores, because that's where we can then derive insights and take actual action. So, going with CultureMonkey was a mix of having a tool that could be accessible at the beginning, but still had this host of analytics behind it. And then I just can't say enough about the team. Like, I mean, I could say that, getting to all the employees is the big thing, but that partnership, I mean, from day one, like, we've done some crazy things. Like, all right, let's figure that out. Never did that before. So, I mean, by doing that, it's just, the loyalty is huge for me, because I know I can rely on CultureMonkey to help me with whatever's going on, whatever crazy twist we want to do things on for a launch, or combining data and separate surveys, all of that. Whatever I ask, they're just like, okay, the translated comments, like, it's fantastic. And they consistently evolve and put out new things all the time as well, but they're definitely customer driven. It has been huge. I lost someone on my team who was running point on a lot of this. And so being down on resources especially made it helpful. But it's also because, as with most things, the tool itself isn't hard. The tool is easy to use. But if I don't use it all the time, I'm not as comfortable in it as, somebody who's in there all the time. So like, they've always taken that lift off. Like, in theory, I could do all this myself. But they're like, don't worry about that. Like, we'll just do that. It'll take me 5 minutes. They get on the phone with me in my time zone all the time. I'm like, I could do something. I'm like, no, it's fine. We even know when the good window is for everybody and things like that. So, I mean, it's that level of partnership. If someone's here in the Chicago area, we meet in person. And really just, I evolved as well in what we wanted to do and see, and how we wanted to access or manage results information. And it was just like brainstorming with a colleague. Like, okay, how can we do that? How can we approach that? What's the ultimate goal? Like, I don't think they've ever told me no for anything. We figured something out, or there's some kind of systemic limitation and stuff. We might be able to do this for you and whatever. So it's just been incredible, and they really are just a go-to partner. I don't even think about it. The other piece was, it's actually a great value. I mean, you've heard me gush over the participation, the partnership, the growing and evolving tool, but we were an unsophisticated organization when it came to engagement data and surveys. And so as we're growing and building, that's great. At the beginning, people are like, oh, we should look at a Gallup survey. I'm like, okay, A, we don't have the budget for that. B, we can't handle that. So I love the fact that it's kind of size adjustable for where you are in your journey. And it's just become part of our conversation. So I think that was another big thing. Like, it's got all the stuff you need to run effective surveys. And then you add in this partnership from day one, and this just thinking about it, global audiences and how to help them out. Like, they're constantly thinking about that. And then just being there on call. So, I mean, all around it wasn't a hard decision to make. And it wasn't because we're just, didn't want to spend much money. We didn't need all that stuff. And it would have probably confused our audiences for results and other things, or raise more questions if it gets too esoteric. Like, I am so proud of my organization. They've really gotten on board with what this is and how they can use it and the information they can receive. So they're definitely the right partner for us. And honestly, I didn't know if we'd outgrow it, but we're not. They're growing with us. And so the organization's evolving, and CultureMonkey's product offering and platform is evolving. And so we're growing together.